So, welcome to the Rise of Virtual Cheese Awards 2025, showcasing the best of British cheese. I am Vicky Rogerson, and I'll be the moderator for this session, which is going to be D3 Savoury Additive Cheeses. So, welcome two amazing judges this year: Paul Heesman from Rocliffs and Keith Kendrick from Good Food Magazine. I'd like to introduce them. So, Keith, do you want to go first? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Keith. I'm the editor of Good Food Magazine, and I'm passionate about cheese. I have my own cheese fridge here. I'm associate for the Academy of Cheese, and I've been judging various cheese awards, including the Virtual Cheese Awards for the past few years. So let's get going.
Thank you, Paul.
Hi, I'm Paul. I've been with Rocliffe for about 14 years on and off, but I've spent pretty much all my working life being involved in cheese in one form or another, and fortunately have no plans to change that.
Great, we'd like to hear. And Sarah is along with us as well today, just to support us. Uh, so today we're going to be judging.
Linda, the case may be.
Not going to introduce yourself. So we'll be judging against four key attributes for all of these cheeses. So we judge for appearance, aroma, texture, and flavour. And flavour is going to high up double weighted, so we give more points for flavour. So let's get straight into it. So go to the first cheese, which is 1015.
Okay, so we are in Savoury Additive. Is it a case of guess what the additive is?
Yeah.
This is interesting, isn't it? I'm not sure whether it should be bottom loaded or top loaded.
I think you have the option of both.
Or yeah, absolutely.
So it looks like it's had a layer of curd, and then whatever the filling is, which hopefully we'll ascertain, has been laid over the top, and then more curd put on top of that. So, which traditionally may have been the morning and evening milk, or even milk from one day to the next. So,
It's intriguing, isn't it, Paul? The consumer will go, I wonder what that is.
yeah,
Might think it's a kind of a mold fracture, which you get in cheddar cheeses, but I think the consistency through it would suggest that it's, well, not suggest, but it's deliberate.
yes,
Is it
place.
deliberately at the bottom or the top, or should it be more through the middle? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say because it sort of curves up. I'd say that the smaller portion would be the bottom, and then it does curve up there. The other curds have been put on top of it, but yeah, I mean, I maybe expected it to be more evenly through the middle, perhaps like a more style. But then that's maybe the charm of the cheese. Maybe if we cut another cheese, it would be different. So, but it's got an interesting rind as well. So the top of the rind, has been ripened in cellars by the looks of it. Just
Cloth bound, is it?
I wondered I did wonder if it had a plastic coat on it, but I don't think it had.
Yeah, no, it's not plastic.
It's got really nice brighter colours on the top rind.
Yeah.
Which I think are quite interesting and pretty actually. So they're not off-putting colours or striking moulds that might put you off. It just adds another level of interest to the cheese visually. So
the taste is consistent. It looks a little bit plasticky. Maybe that's the way it's been in transit.
Yeah, I think it's got a bit of a sheen to it, hasn't it? But I think that is where it's been wrapped, to be honest. So yeah, but there's no flaws in mine, even where the additive is through the middle. It hasn't caused any fractures or.
Oh, it's interesting that that additive. I guess if we saw the full wheel or truckle, then this would be right across because it's getting a bit of bunch here.
Yeah.
So it might be a bit thicker in some places than others. And I guess as a consumer, you want to experience that whichever part of the cheese you're getting, so that you're having the full experience.
Yeah.
So the challenge would be to be cutting this in a certain way so you get the full experience.
Yeah.
Whereas you're a little bit cheated if you just got this bit and somebody else got that bit.
Yeah. 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 It'd be easy to manage if it was sort of through the middle, but you know how artisan it is, and as I say, whether cut another cheese the next day, and it could be different. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's interesting. I think it draws you in. It makes you think, well, it isn't obvious what it is, so you're immediately intrigued to want to know. which so when you're really going to know or
What marks are you? What
maybe
marks do you think for appearance?
I think it's fine. I think that sort of sheen is from where it was wrapped in, because it's sort of a
It's a
bag,
backpack.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's
So
a
yeah,
backpack of that. Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
think before it was wrapped, I'm sure it would be nice, a bit more golden and a bit less sheeny. But no, I think it's interesting. It's intriguing. I think that the fact that it's not just a straight line through the middle makes it look a bit more artisanal uh, and the rind on the top just adds another dimension to me, just to say, that does look like he's actually spent a bit of time in some cellars as well. So,
I
um,
agree with the artisan thing. It's a bit like a trip to the theatre. Every performance is going to be different, but even
yeah,
the lines and the songs are going to be the same.
yeah,
I think
so
that's an
you know what the show
interesting.
is, but there may be differences. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, for me, I'd score it quite. It is quite rustic, um, but my gut feel says it's probably meant to be that way. So, I would, I was, but on face value, I would score it a 9. It's there's no obvious faults as far as I can see.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I'm going to go a point lower because I do
yeah,
think that
yeah,
band,
yeah.
the deep,
Okay, no, I'm
deep
happy with that.
rustle.
Yeah. So we're going 8
So
for
8 or
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
8.
Yeah. And then texture. Um
Aroma next.
indeed,
sorry, Rolex, isn't it? So I beg your
the
pardon.
Roma. Yeah, sorry.
No. So it's got a sort of herby, woody aroma to it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's the rind on the top is very much hints of sort of, cellars, damp cellars. But then when you smell
Yeah,
the
and
paste
almost
itself,
tree bark.
yeah, yeah. So, but when you smell the sort of the middle of the paste, there is a more kind of a woody herbaceous aroma to it.
I wonder if there's aroma if you break into the layer as we're doing here. There's like a dinosaur.
Just a little bit stronger.
Action. Oh yeah, yeah. It really is a lot stronger in there.
Yeah, I don't know if we're getting a little bit of oregano in there.
Very herby.
Mm.
Really.
Yeah, yeah. Nice,
It
nice.
smells of a herb patch, doesn't it? It's a kind of
Yeah. No, it's not.
healthy flower cho cheese.
I don't smell it and go, oh, well, that smells amazing. But it's interesting. It's
It's
yeah.
interesting. It's not a big kind of wow factor of
No,
of,
no.
of the,
It's been
of the smell. You have to really get deep
yeah.
into it to actually pull any aroma out of it.
There's no real aroma coming from the
Pleasant,
cheese
yeah,
itself. It's really from the rind and the
yeah,
additive.
and
So
the interest, yeah,
yeah, I mean, I'd maybe go 7 on aroma.
yeah.
I think this needs a bit more. And I'm gonna just try the paste without the additive and see what that's like. Very soft, but quite sticky as well. Yeah, and it sort of sticks to the fingers. It's not really breaking down particularly cleanly.
I'm just intrigued by these herbs. I think it might be thyme. Is it thyme? I'm not sure. But should have a better palate than this.
So the paste without the herbs, it's got quite a sour back note to it,
It is so.
and it builds up very quickly to become bitter. So, yeah, that's not.
You try it with the herbs. It's actually quite
Mm,
There's some heat there.
What's your score for texture then?
Uh, Texture for me is a good 8.5.
yeah, yeah, I go 8. Yeah,
I
yeah.
I like messing around with this layer. I think it's really interesting because there's so much interest there, and I
Mm.
think I'd like to see another band of this. because I think it really complements the paste here. You've got little twiglets and leaves in this additive.
Yeah, it's hard to determine what it really is, but I think the shame for me is it's it's a little bit overpowered by the sort of sour and bitter notes of the paste of the cheese.
It is. It's very sour, isn't it? I do like that herbiness, that the kind of Mediterranean herbs going through there, and I think that's
Yeah, yeah, the other
what
flavours.
would you have this with, Paul? Because it demands to be its own thing. Finding a complement for it, a kind of a fairly neutral cracker would be good.
Yeah,
Nice piece of bloomer, some crisp apple on the side, but let the cheese be the star. Again,
yeah,
it's one of those talking point cheeses. You kind of go, what is it? What are we experiencing here?
yeah,
It is a bit too sour for me, but
yeah.
I do like sour cheeses. I like the Caerphilly, and it's got a little bit of that going on with it. Not texture wise, but
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, and I think this is a shame, but isn't it? It's a little bit distracting away from being a nice balanced cheese.
it can be a little bit medicinal, those herbs as well.
Mm.
Um,
But if you get a nice hit, the herbs they're actually really good, really pleasant. The herb mix itself, I think, is well balanced. It's not overpowering in any way. You get quite a big hit of it. So so it works. I just think the balance needs to be a little bit better.
yeah, 8.
Yeah, yeah,
Texture 8,
yeah,
flavor 8.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
happy with that.
yeah.
Okay.
Next one is 1042. No, 49 even.
Okay.
Oh, so this was so I had this one back in the fridge for a while because it was very soft when it arrived yesterday. So I did get it out today, but I'm gonna have to pop it back just a little bit.
I think mine feels in perfect condition. It's got the kind of the
Yeah, I was just a bit worried it was going to get carried away. So it's fiddled.
oh, it's a cheese of two halves.
Yeah.
So it's got a line in the middle.
So yeah, it's been.
Yeah. I'm going to cut into it as a. Can I do it from that angle so you can see what's going on?
So appearance before cutting into it is, well, as I say, mine's got a little bit soft, but I think it's fine. It's nicely. What I quite like is it's been nicely sliced as well, nice and evenly through the middle. It's not on a slant at all. But I understand why it's so soft because it's clearly is filling in
I
there.
think it's a beautiful little thing,
Yeah,
and this is in perfect condition. It might just need a couple of more days maturing to get all the way through to the chalky center. I'm
yeah.
not quite sure. It looks like it's two cheeses that have been put together.
Uh,
Sure, what if there is a middle layer, because it didn't.
I think the cheese has been made and then it's been cut and then the filling added in and then it just carried on ripening for a bit. So
Yeah, no, it's kind of knitted together. Yeah, because
yeah,
there is a filling in here.
yeah. It's been halved and filled,
Yeah.
but not right up to the edges. So the edges have actually come together again quite nicely. Uh, so
I
that,
really like the look of this. I think it's. I just love the condition that mine's in as well. I'd
yeah.
like a 10 on that. I mean, it's a bit gnarly on the top, but so what? You can just see the packaging lines. Uh, I imagine this comes in a box usually.
Potentially, but it would probably have the paper around it as well,
Yeah,
or something around it. So where the penicillin cadmium is
this
um,
is cheese
dried
that
off a bit on the edges from the paper.
if you were
That's
to have a Christmas cheese board and you didn't want 5 cheeses, I'd be happy with this at the
yeah,
center of that.
yeah,
and everybody would have so many. Have some crackers and grapes, and a couple of chutneys, and just little indulgent slices going being passed around. I think
Yeah.
it looks lovely. I think I like a 10 for the appearance.
Yeah, because I think I think the way it's broken down, it's cheese board ready, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
it's ready to eat. You haven't got to do anything more with it, and it's
just
broken
take out
down
the
really
fridge half an hour
nicely.
before. That's it.
You see it's broken down from the outside inwards very evenly all the way round.
The smell
Yeah,
is got that lovely mushroomy, gentle, not big overpowering mushrooms like say more
yeah,
porcini. It's that very woody,
yeah.
freshly foraged mushroom. Um,
It smells like it's probably truffle.
yeah,
You know.
but it's not overpowering. Like a lot of truffle these days has just become ubiquitous.
Yes,
You
yeah,
put into
yeah,
anything, and you know that it's flavoring rather than its actual
yeah,
the real thing. This
yeah.
feels like it. This smells like it's kind of it's a perfume rather than
Mm,
a dominant flavor.
yeah, yeah. But it doesn't have those like you say, those sort of more artificial aromas you get when if you add in truffle oils and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
it's nice and clean, it's not overpowering, it's mild, but it's there, it's there. I mean, Rome for me is another 10 really, because I think it's doing all the things it's designed to do. It's not overpowering your senses. It's just drawing you in to say, yeah, that smells delicious. Now I want to find out that it tastes delicious.
Completely. It's like a masterclass in how truffles should be used as a kind of a sense in the background rather than the thing that dot,
Yeah,
and then the cheese just then becomes a vehicle for the truffle. Here, the truffle is kind of woven into the overall experience of the cheese. They
yeah, it's not.
complement each other
Yeah,
really well.
it's not the dominating feature. No, I like it. I think it's nicely balanced. I think it's a nice, clean, truffly aroma to it.
Agree on
Chocolate
10 then.
as well. Yeah, I think I can't really fault the aroma in any way at all. I think it's as I say, quite often smell truffle as an additive, and immediately you can smell that there's been oils or other flavourings added to enhance it.
Yeah.
This smells like it is just a clean natural.
See the flecks there, can't you?
Mm. So the texture, what do you
Well, the texture, I think mine's on point. It might just need another day or two, but I think it's
Mm,
just gloriously. It's it's on the right side of gooey. It's got some
yeah,
firmness. I can hold it. It's not trying to run out the room. I know I'm going to.
break down as well.
Yeah,
So it's
it's got yeah,
yeah,
lovely breakdown from the rind going through. It's just very, very clawing its way right to perfection.
yeah.
I'm going to eat this now. So,
It's how it's how you'd want a cheese of this style to be on the cheese board. Is absolutely spot on, ripe for eating.
oh, that is glorious. That is so rich and indulgent. It's got hints of uh, cabbage with the truffles and the mushroom. Oh,
Again, it's really nicely balanced.
that is
It's not
beautiful.
overpowering. You get the flavour of the cheese coming through as well, which is really good actually, because it's not a big cheese, and the truffle is always going to be a punchy flavour. So again, the balance is really, really good.
The mouthfeel is
Mm.
unreal.
It's like eating double cream, isn't it? So
It needs some sharp forest fruits to kind of balance that that creamy foresty richness. I think it's and a really sharp glass of say something like a muscadet to go
mm.
with this. Something that's got a little bit of salt, but and a lot of zing about it. I think that would be a perfect complement.
The only thing I do find with it is I'll try a bit from the other half of the cheese, because I did get quite a strong hit of salt on the end. But that just might be the balance of salt through the cheese. I'll try a bit from the other half, see if it's happened. Just gives me an excuse to eat more of the cheese.
Yeah, I really love the salt aspect of it. I mean, there's no crystallization in there, but
No, but it was. I think maybe it was still. Yeah, it's on that piece. It's there, but it's not here. But it just made the salt distribution through the make process, so it's got a little hit. But
So what are your scores for texture and for taste?
I want to do. I'm going to say 9 for texture because it's just not got absolutely all the way to perfection. Paul?
yeah, so the middle bit where the chocolate is, I don't think that's not going to break down because I guess it's mixed with a mascarpone or something of that nature. So
Okay, okay.
the actual middle bit's not going to
Not
ripen.
going to go any further. It's not going to go any further. Okay, well,
Yeah,
well, it'll be a 10
yeah.
then.
I think the middle bit is it'll be a mascarpone or something of that nature that's been mixed with, which is why it's got a bit of extra firmness. So,
Hmm.
but everything around it is ripened beautifully and cleanly. There's no slipping of the coat. Let's say the rind died off a little bit right on the very edge from where it's been wrapped, but that's the nature of what happens. Um, so for me, I mean, the texture for me is based on that. The little bit won't ripen. The texture for me is a 10. It's just like, yeah.
Okay, so 10.
For me, yeah, unless you want to go down a bit, Keith. But
I can't stop eating this. I think it's just glorious. I was I was concerned about this category because I thought we might end up with lots of stuff studded with apricots and cranberries and and here's some curry flavored cheese and charcoal cheese, but this is just a brilliant way of getting that balance right
yeah,
of the additive complementing and enhancing what is already a fantastic product.
So do you agree with texture 10 and taste 10? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Yeah.
I-
Perfect. Full house.
yeah, yeah. That's another one that's going back to my desk solely for my consumption.
100%.
You have to hide it so no one eats it.
No, I just clear my palate a little bit because of
Yeah. The next one will be 1074.
Okay.
right. This is
A nice looking chap. Colour from Anato, I presume.
yeah. I think so. We'll get it out of the pack.
Some subtle flecking here of
Yeah, they're quite subtly. Let's say that they're subtly placed, aren't they? But visible. I mean, they're there. So again, there's no obvious cracks or fissures or anything of that nature.
it's very, very evenly distributed as well.
Yeah, yeah. So on every face you can see the additive is in there, even if it's not right on the surface. You can still see some below the surface. So yeah, so I think that sort of indicates it probably is quite well distributed through. So any marks on it really come from the packing rather than the being a fault of the cheese. So the rind's very clean, nice thin rind again.
I think this might be seaweed again.
Okay, but okay, visually, there's nothing there saying to me
No, I think it's a really, really nice.
there's a fault there.
It's just a little bit. It's a bit dry at the rind. I'm hoping that's going to have a bit of radishness about it. But I just think it looks a very, very
Yeah,
lovely, consistent, even
yeah.
thing.
Because it maybe doesn't show on the camera, but even where it doesn't look on the surface, if there's a lot of additive, I can see it just the lurking under the surface. So I suspect they're quite evenly distributed, is what we'll find when we start cutting into it.
How would they get that distribution? Is
but
that
then
done
mixing it with
at the end or at the beginning? Where's
uh,
what process is that done?
so it's probably been mixed in with the curds during the mixing process, yeah, before it goes into the molds. Yeah.
Interesting.
So and there's a bit of a natto been added, but it's not overly bright or anything. It just gives it a nice another dimension. So for me, I just can't, you know, I can't see any faults on the piece I've got here. I can't see any reason not to give it full marks, really.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's just no.
We're very, very high scoring, aren't we? But that's because
Well,
see the
yeah, but I
speed.
can't. You know, I can't even look at it and think, well, you know, that looks a little bit off, or you know, it's just no. Just can't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, let's not find excuses to take stuff
Well,
away.
exactly. That's it. You're going to end up looking for things rather than taking it on face value. So,
Okay. Aroma.
oh, well, so it's quite
Oh, this is interesting. Very very herby.
oniony.
Oniony, yeah, yeah. So that wasn't
Sweet.
seaweed, that would be chives.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, chives and onions, maybe.
Yeah.
Got a sweetness to it as well, which I like.
It's very, very, very oniony, like spring onion smell.
Yeah, but it's not a. It doesn't sort of really get into your nose. It's not a harsh. There's a sweetness to it as well.
Yeah, it's like when you first open a jar of silver skin pickled onions
Yeah, yeah,
and you get that little vinegary blast.
yeah. There's no.
I'm looking forward to trying this.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I thought it might be more like a Cheshire cheese.
Potentially, yeah, because it looks like it might be. It looks as though it's going to be sort of fairly open texture,
Yeah.
but I
Aroma wise, I think the aroma is actually quite strong and takes a little bit away from the actual cheese itself. I do like the
yeah,
chunky onion, silver skinny onion kind of vibes about it. I don't think it's worth a 10, but maybe a kind of a 8.5, 9.
yeah, yeah, like 8.5, yeah. I think it sort of draws you into look at it, wonder what it is, and then oh yeah, aroma, yeah, there's some onion going on there. So now I want to get in and try it.
Let's
So
give
yeah,
it a snap. Let's
yeah.
give it a snap test.
So I think it's sort of doing its job in terms of drawing you in. And then texture wise,
Yeah, it
it's
fractions.
crumbly. Yeah,
Look at that. There's a nice crumb about it.
yeah. The natto's evenly
Love the
distributed.
ridges.
Um,
Some of this from the middle.
there's no moisture in there.
No, give it a squeeze and a play. No, there's no moisture. But it's not dry
But
either. It's
yeah, it's crumbly, but like I say, it's not just a
yeah,
yes.
it's kind of a succulence about it.
Yeah, it's the sort of nature of the beast rather than it being a fault. Because there's actually some, even though they're not free moisture showing, there is some moisture in the cheese that's keeping it. No flavour wise.
Sorry, I dropped some cheese on the floor. I'm going to take some from here.
Yeah, there's apron saving my day.
The onion is mainly on the nose and not in the mouth. It kind of
Really, I was
brings it away.
expecting.
So it's really it's like a ploughman's lunch in one place.
Mm. So the base cheese is a really nice, clean, lactic, fresh Cheshire style cheese. But the onion itself is well, it's not as strong as I thought it was going to be, but it's also a bit less oniony. Is that a thing? I don't know. It's
Yeah, the onions the onions background. I find the texture a little bit dry. I'm kind of chewing quite hard. He definitely needs a pint of IPA or a pint of cider to go with it.
Yeah, but I think that is the nature of the style of the cheese, you know, being
Absolutely.
sort of Cheshire style. But yeah, I just think the onion. I think the onion is probably lacking a bit of sweetness. Um,
Maybe a bit of tartness as well. Maybe a bit of kind of a citric, like vinegary tartness.
yeah, I'm not hesitating because I don't like it. I'm sort of hesitating to find the right words, if I'm honest. And um, I was expecting a bit more, but I can't put that into words at this precise moment. But it wasn't a sort of, a rounded. I guess I was looking for more of a sort of pickled onion type flavour rather than
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I mean, now you're talking that through, it's almost like I don't want to be disingenuous to it because I think it's a lovely cheese, but
yeah,
kind of what's the point of doing the additive if you're not really going to be loud and proud about the additive?
yeah.
Because it's not doing anything better than a really good
Mm.
Cheshire.
What's your scores then for texture and for taste, do you think?
Texture, I think I think it is designed to be a Cheshire style. So, I mean, texture for me would be a 9 because it is crumbly, but I would expect that. Um, but it does break down in your mouth, and you're not left with lots of bitty pieces or anything. So, yeah, I think texture for me, and also the onion that's in there, you're not left with sort of, sometimes you get left with little almost like or feel like little grassy bits with some additives like this, but they break down really easily. So texture for me, I would say would be a 9. Um, but flavour, I think that the base cheese I think is excellent. I think the onion just it needs a bit more of a what people would recognise as an onion flavour. So I'd go 8 on flavour, but I don't know what your thoughts are, Keith, on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go 8 on flavor for those reasons. I'd also go 8 on texture because I would like it to be more crumbly.
Okay, right.
Because I feel like I'm guessing whether it's a Cheshire or not, and I think if it was a fraction more crumbly, it would definitely be a Cheshire. And that's I love that way that that fall apart texture, that kind of chalky fall apartness you get in Cheshire. So I'd go 8. I still think it's a lovely cheese. I
Yeah,
think we should ramp up the sweetness of the onion in here.
yeah.
Good.
So
But yeah, that's I do like it though. I just
yeah, I think it's really nice.
it's a cheese that needs to be eaten with something as well. I think is the
The big challenge for us,
key thing.
Paul, is when we get together in the park later,
Yeah,
and we've got all of these cheeses out again. Which ones are we actually going to eat, and which ones are we going to ignore? That'll be the true test.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The next one is 1095.
Trouble is, I'll probably end up eating all of them again anyway, because
It
I love cheese.
could be a good pub session this weekend, let me tell
Yeah.
you.
No,
One
this one's
nine five, Vicky.
1095. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
This looks fairly distinctly like hops to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Hot.
Or dead moths.
yeah,
Very gnarly, isn't it?
Very gnarly. So these are hops, are they? I bet yeah.
yeah, they've got that sort of
They-
shape of hops, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I know what
Some
this.
interesting colours,
It's
isn't it?
beer cheese.
It's really interesting, isn't it? The layers and layers of hops as well.
And there's some white mold starting to come through in a good way. Sort of white grey mold starting to appear between the leaves.
Paul, in your experience, would these hops be placed, would be sort of patted on or rolled on right at the end of the process, or would it
Yes, yeah. So
would
yeah,
it
this
be
would be sort of very
right at the end?
very last knockings of the process. Yeah, yeah.
So
And
you wouldn't really expect them to penetrate the cheese in terms of flavour.
no, no, you may get a little bit, yeah, depending on the coating. I think hops probably maybe not strong enough to really sort of penetrate in. Other things might, but yeah, I think this is so it's a visual experience, and then they'll deliver something on the flavour, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
We've used
yeah,
the word
they
intriguing
won't
quite a lot,
extract
haven't
it
we?
in. Yeah,
We've used the word intriguing quite a lot, and this is another one of those that
yeah,
intrigue.
it is. Yeah, yeah.
Conversation started.
It's all about eating with your eyes, isn't it? And is
Yeah.
that you look at it and go, yeah, I want to know more about that, or try it, or buy it even. So mine's quite sporadically coated on. Is the only thing I would say. It's there's quite a lot of gaps, especially on the outside rind. I would say it's probably only about 50% covered on that face.
Yeah, I've got the same.
Yeah, so I'd say I'd mark it down for that. But the hop leaves themselves actually give a um, bit of variety of shape and colour to them. So, but yeah, it's just and the actual paste of the cheese itself is.
Just let me ask you another question about process. So these would be cut and then the hops would be put on them, because it's not put on the outside, is it? Because we're getting a slice with hops.
Yeah, so they put them on the outside of the whole cheese, and then the slice will then be taken from the whole cheese. So
And this is the
when they've
depth of the
done,
whole cheese.
yeah. So if you've got any on your sort of face of your cheese, and they've probably just been dragged through by the knife or the wire when it's been cut. So,
So
which
should we
a lot of
should we
cheeses.
go with 8 for appearance?
Yeah, because I think mine's quite sporadic. I think if it was coated all the way round, then yeah, it would be high. But I think eight's fair. Yeah, yeah.
Aroma.
It's very it's very herby, very yeah, hoppy, very. It smells very clean as well,
Yeah.
because we have identified this as hops. I can't get a decent pint of cask ale out of my head. I like that. It's not remotely punchy or in your
No.
face. It's subtle, and which is surprising because hops do have a more kind of a sort of a robust,
Yeah.
distinctive smell about them.
Yeah. So I get a combination of there's a little bit of smell of cellars from where it's been, and then I get some grassy, herbaceous notes and some sweetness coming through as well.
Yeah, pleasant. 8.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it's not a punchy aroma, but it's just a nice, pleasant, quite nicely balanced aroma.
So totally intrigued to get into the texture and the taste of this, especially on the outside rind. So I'm going to cut through to get a slice of the action.
It's pretty firm.
Very firm. Look at these. Okay, first of all, I'm going to try the hop coating on its own. Wow, that is incredibly bitter.
How is it?
Yeah,
Would you expect that from hops, though, some bitterness?
yeah, yeah, of course. I guess that's why beer is called bitter, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true.
It is very bitter.
Yeah.
It's. I don't think it's to your taste. This coating, Paul. Like you told me.
I'm just playing with the texture at the moment. It's quite the piece I've got here is quite a fractured piece of cheese. I mean, yeah, the curd holds together.
Yeah, I've got it right close to the rind, and it's quite breaking apart. So I'm going to get something a bit nearer the nose. Yeah, it doesn't ball easily at all. But
Yeah, I noticed a bit this because I was reading something about hops quite a long time ago, and I do remember somebody saying if you just eat them, they can be quite bitter. I think
they
just
are they definitely shouldn't be eaten on their own. I've just experienced that. Let's see what they're like inside the cheese, or as part of the cheese. I like the way it breaks
cheese,
it.
cheese itself on its own is Well, so it's good. So it's quite sweet, but it's got a nice savoury, almost brothy note to it as well. There's a little bit of acidity.
The cheese is lovely. It's
Yeah,
got
so the
it's
cheese
got,
without the herbs is a
yeah.
interesting cheese in its own right, anyway.
I imagine the hops speak of the terroir where this cheese is made, and it wants to be identified as a cheese of that region.
Yeah, yeah, you sort of hope that'd be the case when you that it'd be celebrating.
What's your score for texture then?
Uh,
I've had a texture a little bit sort of curdy, and the cheese fractured. So I would score it 8 on texture.
Keith, do you
I
agree with
like the texture. I like the way it breaks. But I'm happy with an 8. Paul's gone.
that? Okay.
I find the flavour so complex and unusual at kind of dancing around,
Yeah.
trying to be one thing and then becomes another. I think it's a really great pub cheese. I think it absolutely needs to be accompanied by a pint and a baguette. It's just
The flavour I'm
amazing.
getting from the rind it's it's reminiscent of a very strong kind of bitter. It's got that real flavour to it, and which I love. um, it surprised me actually because I wasn't expecting it to have an awful lot of flavour, and maybe bitterness would be a factor, but I don't find it overly bitter. And I think that's overridden anyway by the rest of the flavours.
Yeah, because you like you say, it's got that sweetness about it.
Yeah,
It's almost kind of dulce de leche sweetness about it in the cheese itself.
yeah.
Bitter kind of it just together. It should all be eaten together, and it's very
It's almost
powerful.
if it's unusually cheese you would necessarily want bitterness, but with this one it almost feels like it needs to be part of the flavour mix really.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah,
the hops on their own are quite medicinal, but mixed with the cheese,
yeah, yeah,
they really are.
yeah. But yeah, really
I'm going to say 9 for the
yeah.
overall package.
I'm really pleasantly surprised at how much flavour the hops delivered actually, and in terms of complexity, um, and complementing the cheese. So I'm happy to agree with that.
The more you chew, the more it gets into
Yeah,
your drool centers. It's just yeah,
What score did you give it then to taste?
and
9.
yeah,
Nine.
yeah. There's a fruitiness comes through as well.
Strong fruit,
Mm.
like fruit that's fallen off the tree and is just
Yeah,
kind of, waiting to be picked up by the birds.
yeah. So those to ferment a bit. A really, really good complex level of flavours on that.
Where are we going next, Vicky?
1151.
Okay.
Okay.
So again, visually, really good distribution of the additive.
We've had some really, really good looking cheeses here, haven't we?
Yeah,
All different, all got their virtues, and they're just you know,
so
appeal,
it's not a rind
retail
dish.
appeal. They're just they're lovely. They demand a conversation with your cheesemonger.
Yeah. So
Great
it's
distribution
not
here.
a blended cheese, but it means you can see the additive from every angle.
Yep,
On my piece, it's beautifully distributed. There's lots of it, really nicely distributed.
it's like a negative photo of a starry night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So again, any creases in it have come from the fact it's been in a vacuum bag. But no, so visually, I can't find any faults with it. It's um,
I mean, this is a nitpicking thing and a half, and shoot me down if it really is. But I've not got much going on here.
okay. So yeah, Yes, yours is a bit different to mine. Mine's a lot more mine's probably a bit more evenly
You've
distributed.
got it all, yeah.
Yeah.
Got it all.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's just happy to mark it down a bit for sort of inconsistency on the distribution. Yeah. Yeah.
just 9.5, not
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like 9.5.
Yeah.
Great.
And the aroma,
Oh yeah, okay.
just nice,
Getting
nice
the
clean
bacon.
truffle, mushroomy,
Yeah, mushroomy.
but again, it doesn't have that sort of any artificial aroma notes of
It smells like
any
forest
flavoring.
in the forest.
Mm.
Yeah, not overpowering,
No,
not synthetic, very, very natural, very
yeah.
quite woody, quite barky.
I thought it might, given the amount of additive that's in there, I thought maybe the aroma might be bit stronger, but that's not a fault or criticism. It's just
Yeah,
that's more just observation, really. But
I don't want
the
it to be
aroma that
stronger
is
than that.
really
I think
nice.
that's a nice balance. We
Yeah.
say 9 for the aroma.
So
You say 9 for the aroma.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Texture, let's give it a bend and see where it snaps. And what kind of more of a peel than a fracture.
Mm.
It's quite a soft cheese. It's quite a not soft, but semi-hard. It's a bouncy cheese. I just love the way
Yeah,
it,
it's a young cheese. It's
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so it's still a little bit curdy, but not in a not in the it's just how it is. It's not a fault or anything. It's it clearly is quite a young cheese.
Yeah, balls nicely. It's a little bit of oiliness coming out in the squeeze.
Mm. Whether that could be from the truffles.
Yeah, so there's little flecks of truffles in here. I'm just can see this tiny little thing here. It's funny that tastes of nothing, but it clearly permeates the cheese when it's embedded. That would have been added in with the curd, would it, Paul?
Yeah, look, I'd sort of broken it in half, and I suspect it must have been, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it's quite a young cheese. It's still very open. I said there's a bit of free moisture in there. Um, I just want to
But it's not remotely plasticky. It's
yeah,
it's not shrapnel. It's not crumbly. It's a very easy cheese to kind of just break off and pop into your mouth. That truffle comes through straight away as soon as it goes in. Feels like
it's
quite
a pretty
dominant,
natural
actually.
flavour, isn't it? But yeah, but the curd, yeah, the curds break apart very easily. Um, but it, but it still holds its shape. You can cut a portion out of it.
I
So
couldn't eat a lot of this cheese. I think it's the taste is strong for
Yeah,
truffle. You've got to really be a big fan of truffle.
yeah. I think it's pretty
And to have a
convenient.
big chunk of it, I think is probably a bit too much
Yeah,
for me. Definitely one for the truffle fans, but for me, I'm thinking, uh,
it's more of an indulgence rather than an everyday cheeseboard.
absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, I say it's very young, but I like the flavour.
what's your score to give for texture?
Well,
Texture for me,
what was
It's
that? Sorry.
texture.
Yeah. What was your score? Sorry, Keith.
I think 8.
8.
Yeah.
People?
Yeah, it is very young still and very crumbly. Flavour, I'd go probably 9 on flavour.
Um, Yeah, I think I'd go further towards an 8 for
Okay, yeah,
the reason that is like the first thing I taste when I pop it in my mouth is not cheese, but it's truffle.
Mm.
Paul's having another go to see if this can be confirmed or denied.
No, no, I was just trying to pick out some bits of the actual truffle, and I was doing a bit of dissecting. But I was trying to work out if they have been, sort of in something, soaked in something or whatever. Because I say,
Yeah.
where there's the moisture is usually where there's a little bit of truffle. So,
Meat in the middle, 8.5.
yeah, yeah,
Cool.
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
I think it's yeah, it's interesting. It's such a young cheese. I'd be interested to find out whether they have done some work in aging it on a bit more as well, and how that
Be better if it was
cheese.
aged.
Sorry,
Would be
no,
better.
no, I don't know. I'm not an expert. Yeah, so but I just I'd be interested to know if they have tried aging them further and what it actually does to the cheese, because it is clearly very young and still quite an open curd texture to it. Um, but maybe there's they do it that way because they feel that's what gives the best balance of flavors. And it is balanced. It's not, I do with truffle is it's always going to be the dominant flavor, but you still want, like you have in this case, you want the flavor of the cheese to come through as well. And
And I think that was achieved with the soft
yeah,
brie style cheese
yeah,
earlier.
100%, yeah,
This was a little bit too kind
yeah.
of
But sometimes all
you're
you need
buying
is
it for the truffle rather than you're buying it for the cheese.
yeah. Um, and sometimes even truffle aficionados don't want just a big hit of truffle. They want to um they're buying it as part of the cheese or something else because that's a carrier for it, and they want to be
Yeah.
able to understand and taste that as well. Yeah,
The next one is 1197.
This is this beautiful thing, isn't it?
yeah, that is stunning. Beautiful, and
Which I've carved into I carved a slice off, but I just wanted to show how it arrived because this was just blew my socks off how gorgeous this is.
yeah,
It's absolutely a wonderful work of art. You can see the love and the care and the artistry and the craftspersonship that's gone into wrapping this cheese. It's just beautiful.
yeah,
And then when you get into the actual body of the work, then you just see this kind of this open uh, paste, this crumb, which is
yeah. But this mold coming through between the leaves just accentuates the shape and really draws your eye into it. It's a very fresh, clean looking. Still the leaves still nice, vibrant green to them.
really art. So the white is on the on here. This is a mold.
Yeah, so that's the mold coming through from the rind underneath the leaves. So it's sort of white grey mold. But what it does for me is it accentuates the edges of the leaves and gives
Yeah, it couldn't have been painted better. It's
yeah.
absolutely glorious.
In order to achieve that, the person doing the leaves has got to clearly know what they're doing in terms of where they're placing them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very very clever.
I mean, that's a kind of take it up to 11 for me for
Yeah,
appearance.
yeah,
Look at that. It's
yeah,
gorgeous.
yeah. It's a sort of yeah, it's got to be a 10 visually. It's sort of cheese that you think well, if you gave it to somebody in the dairy and whoever's put the leaves on will probably say, "Oh yeah, that's one of mine." It's probably one of those where they've all got their individual way of doing these things.
They should be asking for a pay rise.
Mhm.
It's gorgeous.
But it is beautiful, and so a centerpiece for a cheese board or a cheese wedding cake, or I'm just going to do a slice out of it, and
The aroma's very it's very, very mild. It tastes it smells fresh. It tastes it smells milky, of that kind of like freshly milked cow. Tiny hint of sour lemon in there, I think.
Yeah.
It's not going to win any awards for aroma because it's not pronounced enough, but
No.
it's a shy aroma. Let's put it that way. I'll copyright that.
But you get a nice sort of herby. It's almost. I think I've used the word woodiness a lot today. I think, but yeah. But again, I get it here on this from the near the leaves, probably nettles. But yeah, and then yeah, like I say, the paste itself, but it's it's clean. It's a little bit lactic, and yeah, it's got a sort of citrusy note in the background. But but subtle. It's
It is subtle.
yeah, it's but it's very clean, very fresh, and as I get more out of this piece, it will probably enhance.
What should we give it for aroma? Because it's not it's not doing anything wrong.
No. And I think what is there is really nice. I think what I get from the leaves, it was really present, and makes you just think of hedgerows and
Yeah, the hedgerows, the kind of
yeah,
the
cheese.
floor of a wood, you're kicking leaves,
Yeah,
autumn, you're bringing up that kind of, that
but the cheese itself
flower.
has a bit of lactic and a bit of citric in there as well. So so again, there's no faults to it. It's not overly strong or
What would we take a mark off for? I mean, this is the cheese. This is what it should.
and absolutely, yeah. And I don't
It
think
does smell like.
and I think you'd have to understand from the cheesemaker whether they think it's missing something. But
Yeah,
I mean, for me, again, there's no off notes there. There's nothing to say. Oh, hang on a bit. That's making me think there might be something going on here. So I think it's yeah. There's no reason to score not score it highly, to be honest.
yeah.
Just because it's not a punchy aroma doesn't mean it's wrong.
What score would you give them for aroma?
I'd go 9.
Yeah, let's do 9. Now, the big question that I always get asked by people whenever I do events is, can you eat the rind? And
Mm.
obviously, with something that is not natural, like the plastics or the wax, you can't eat the rind. Should we be eating the rind on this, Paul?
Yeah, it's like 100%. I would. It's
That's
natural,
going to enhance the
natural leaves.
experience, isn't it? So I'm going to cut in here to look for more texture. It's quite springy. It's got a bit of a crumb about it.
Yeah, there's a bit of openness.
Yeah, it's the open texture.
There's no free moisture in there. Um, so, when you eat it, there's a creaminess to the texture as well. So
So I'm going to eat it
no
without
reason to
the
mark it down for me.
wrapping. And do you know enough about a cheese of this style, how long it would be wrapped in these leaves?
No, I don't know how long one like this will be matured for. I mean, it'd be a matter of weeks rather than months, I would think. But because the cheese itself is still, it feels like it's not an overly aged cheese. But the texture's nice. The texture's,
What are you getting from the paste, Paul? I'm tasting just a lot of salt and
okay.
I think I need to have it with the rind.
Not overly salty. So again,
I'm going to have it with the rind and see where.
that's it. I've got a lemon note in the background. This is without the leaves.
Eating it with the leaves gives it such an interesting range of textures. You kind of got a bit of a crunch from the coating, creaminess of the
Yeah.
paste.
Yeah, it adds another dimension to the bizarrely the citrus lemony notes lifted a little bit.
So flavor additive cheese, the flavor is coming from the leaves.
Mm.
I'm not sure it's kind of permeating. Maybe it shouldn't be permeating the rest of it. I'm just not getting a hell of a lot of interest in the paste. Am I talking? If I had a hat, would I be talking through it now?
I think it's it's subjective, isn't it? And I think it's not a strong cheese, but for me it's clean, it's fresh.
Yeah, it's clean, it's fresh, it's
Yeah,
lemony, it's a bit yogurty.
yeah. That sort of yogurty flavour is a good description. And I don't think it's trying to be, a sort of a strong aged flavour, because that would just overpower any flavour coming from the leaves. But yeah, I think the leaves do add another dimension, some level dimensions to the flavour.
What are you going to give it for texture and flavour?
Texture 8, flavor 9 for me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Happy with that, Paul?
yeah. I mean, if you eat the leaves just literally on their own, they got quite a strong flavour actually. So they are adding to the cheese as you go closer to the rind. But it's just such a beautiful cheese.
Well, I really do like those leaves on their own as well. They are. Good shout.
And there's you got
Flavor
one
9. Yep.
1, 2, 1, 2. The last cheese.
more. Okay. So again, a good distribution of the additive goes right up to the rind.
Just what a variety of really interesting cheese and adventurous and creative cheeses
Yeah.
category.
So it's got a plastic coat on the rind rather than cloth bound or anything else.
Seems to be going very dry near the rind.
Yeah, so visually that would be my only observation really, is that particularly on this end, the dryness goes in quite deep, which as soon as I opened it, that really caught my eye.
Yeah.
So I probably, but then counter with the fact the additives are really well distributed and lots of them, I'd probably drag it down to a 10 to maybe to from an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, an 8 for me.
Yeah.
It is an interesting rind, even though it's an inedible rind. I can imagine the round of this would be very, very
Yeah.
noteworthy.
So yeah, you need to remove. Yeah, once you remove the plastic coat, you would.
So
Yeah,
are you doing 8s or 7s for this?
I'd give it an 8. I think. I just think I'm going to get a bit of wastage at this top end because of the dryness.
So 8 for appearance and
Yeah.
now aroma.
Aroma. Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of intrigue in here, isn't there?
Aroma, I'm actually getting very little on the aroma.
Oh, I'm getting quite a lot of perfume from this.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I've had mine out of the fridge longer or something. It's it smells warm and nutty. I'm gonna break into it. Aroma, is it remarkable? It's certainly there for me. I can't identify the
No, I'm not picking up any
okay.
aroma from the actual additives. Unless I get very close and breathing very hard.
Well, we've got a lot of interest in the additives. Look at this, a
Yeah.
whole leaf coming out of it.
I would go 6 or 7 on aroma. It's just not. There's nothing coming from the aroma which is then inviting me in on the flavour really, which is a bit. bit surprising given how well the additives are distributed through it.
There's 6 or 7. Which one?
7.
Yep, that's cool.
This is quite. I think it might. I think it's seaweed. I think it's seaweed, and it's very briny when you get just a leaf
Okay.
on the sensor. Very briny.
Texture of cheese is fine. It's
You see.
creamy, breaks down, holds together.
Yeah.
Nice creamy mouthfeel.
Yeah, it's a very, very it's very Moorish, that texture.
Yeah.
Great mouthfeel, lovely coating, long and lingering. Begging you to keep going back. It's got the flavor notes. They're the flavor is very bright.
Yeah. But there's a very heavy, salty, like I say, bright, almost briny sort of
It's like an ocean wave crashing onto you when you breathe it in. But I do really like that.
I'm with you, there is strong possibility that is seaweed.
There's a lot of salt, but it's more brine, it's more sea salt, it's more of the coast rather than just pouring a load of Saxa into it and then hoping for the best.
It makes you just visualize the coast, doesn't it?
So what score would you give it for texture?
I'm just trying to give it a 9. I think
Yeah, I would as well.
fine. Flavour. Yeah, I mean it's hard to define the flavour beyond that sort of salty, briny.
It's a bit harsh when it goes down. It's a bit harsh aftertaste. So
But the back taste, you are left with a sort of a herby, irony note at the back.
irony and metallic, that's a good description.
Yeah, but not in a negative way. It's just yeah, that's interesting. I think it's a really interesting cheese. I think probably better if that flavour was a little bit more defined. But as a cheese, I think it's a really good idea. It's really good, well executed.
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you eaten a bit of it on its own? And yeah.
Yeah, it needs a ripe plum or pear or nectarine with it.
The thing about it is it's one of those cheeses where it does make you think. Yeah, and while you're thinking, it could be any number of things. In a good way, you're suddenly conjuring up all sorts of thoughts of what it could be. But I did come back to seaweed of some sort. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Great. So in that round, the winning cheese was D31049, which scored total 100% score 45. So kind of clear winner. And the cheese that was in second place was D31197. And then the third place cheese was D31151. I want to say thank you, judges, for brilliant, really interesting cheeses. And thank you to our sponsors, to Bottlers for our aprons, and also to Miller's Crackers for being our cracker sponsor. And everyone can come back on the 10th of June where we'll be in the category final. So the winning cheese from this class will go into the category final, and then the winning cheese for those categories go into the supreme final on the 11th of June, all live on YouTube, Facebook, and our website. So thank you again, judges, and see you again.
That was a great round. Really, really good round. So much interest there and surprises and talking points. So well done to all the cheesemakers. Incredible.
Brilliant. Well done, guys. Thank you.